Mhm. All right, Bronny James staying in the draft. Collegiate career is done. This doesn't really come as a surprise to anyone, but what the news that we got was that he got cleared by the combines, health and fitness, or whatever. Like
Yeah,
his
by the
heart
NBA,
situation, yeah,
basically.
basically
Basically.
his heart situation is going to be fine. I remember he had the heart scare. I think he had a procedure done to correct a congenital defect that he had in his heart. I don't know all the details of what's actually happening there. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a doctor, but he is going to be eligible and cleared medically to play in the NBA. So he's keeping his name in the draft. I know where you stand on this, but I guess we're just going to have to kind of let you say, like, this is a bad decision Bronny's making, huh?
No, so like yes and no. If it were me, I would have advised him to go to another year of college and go to a coach that's going to develop him and go to a place where he's going to have a chance to play and feel comfortable and all that. Whether it's Duquesne with Drew Joyce, who's extremely tight with LeBron, or even staying on the West Coast where he could be closer to his family. He averaged 4.5 points a game for a shitty team last year. Again, you could certainly make the excuse he was coming back from the heart issue, missed the beginning of the season, missed the time in the offseason, and that's valid. That's valid. But we've seen him enough before that. We've seen him enough to know that this isn't a kid who's a lock NBA player. The only reason he's on the board right now is because of his dad. That's the only reason he's even going to be on an NBA draft board, and probably one of them, the Los Angeles Lakers. That's probably the only board he goes to right now. So I would have liked to have seen him go to another year of college, spend another year in college. But I get it. I get it. You're LeBron James. Here are two things at play. Number one, you want to play with your son. Okay.
Mhm.
Listen, I totally understand it. You're 39 years old. I deal with this with my daughter now, right? It's the most important thing for me is her. My career is, listen, towards the end, right? At some point, hopefully I got a few more years left, but working with you, who the hell knows? I want to see her succeed. LeBron wants to see Bronny succeed, and he wants to enjoy whatever time he has with his son. So I understand that. I also think LeBron James probably feels like Bronny James can develop better with him. I think he feels like he can be a better coach to his son year round than any college coach out there for the most part. And he trusts himself more. And he'll stick him on the end of the bench and he'll literally be his personal coach, which he already is in the offseason. But now he'll have all these guys around him. Bronny will be able to spend all his time working on his craft. And I think LeBron truly believes, beyond the fact that he wants to play with him, that he's going to develop better at the NBA level.
There's something to be said about that as well, where you don't have to worry about the amount of time that you're spending in the gym. You don't have to worry about taking classes. And you don't have to worry about, like, it's not like Bronny cannot get better when he gets to the league. My biggest question would be, uh, do you want to be able to put that pressure on him when you get to the NBA level? But I also think there's something to be said for, like, the security that you have playing professional basketball is probably at a level that's a little bit different than what you're going to see on a college campus for anybody. And I'm sure that when you are LeBron James, that is going to factor into the equation as well. So I get it. I understand he's doing it. I don't know if Bronny's going to
Isn't he
end
going
up
to
being.
face more pressure? In a way, isn't he going to face more pressure on a college campus than he is going in as a second-round pick for the Lakers, where everybody knows he isn't ready right now? Like, he
His
averaged 4.5 points a game. Like,
his name is Bronny
I know,
James.
but
He's LeBron's kid. It doesn't matter where he goes. He's
so
going to have
Bryce James, his younger son, is going to have the same issues? No. Like,
No,
I
because Bryce James
actually
isn't
think
going to
right
end up with
now,
a Bryce James isn't the same level of player. So, like, when Bryce James goes somewhere, it's kind of, we know that Bryce James probably isn't going to end up being a 4-star kind of a player, a top 30 kind of a player, like a borderline NBA player. Whereas Bronny James, I mean, he kind of is. And I will just say this: I do think that there is, with his athleticism, with his basketball IQ, with his shot making. I do think that there is
place for him.
a place for him in the league. Like, I think he can play a role. Now, I think he's probably 2 or 3 years away from actually being that role player. right? Like actually getting to the point where he's developed there. But if you want to put him in the league now, I don't think he's going to go out there and embarrass himself. He's probably going to be the last guy on the bench. He probably needs to spend a couple
And
years in
that's
the G
my
League to
question,
work. Like,
Rob.
but who cares? Like, it's my takeaway is that LeBron James thinks that he knows the best way for his son to develop as a basketball player.
Yeah.
And if LeBron James is going to say, this is the best way for my son to get better at the sport that I might be the greatest ever at, like, I'm not going to tell him that he's wrong, you
But
know?
how'd you like to be that coach this season, whoever the next Lakers coach is going to be, when they draft Bronny let's say they draft him in the second round. I can't see anybody. And this is another conversation completely, but and we'll get onto this. I want to ask you this after of where you take him. But let's say they take him in the 40s. I don't even know what the Lakers' second pick is. It's probably somewhere in that vicinity, right around 40. Let's say they take him there. There's not a ton of expectations at that point. But if you're the Lakers head coach, what do you do? Because LeBron, most coaches are not realistic when it comes to their kid. I've seen this with Doc Rivers and Austin Rivers. And Doc's the most realistic dude in the world. But again, when it comes to your son, things change. So LeBron's already said dumb things about Bronny in a way with the Lakers, with the NBA, right? That he could play right now in the NBA, blah, blah, blah. He's as good as, Lakers, some of their players. He's got to be very, very careful what he does, because it's different when Bronny's, at USC than when he is sitting at the end of the bench and you're going out there publicly and saying, hey, my kid should be playing. And he's clearly, the other 12 guys on the team look at him like he's out of his mind.
Well, my counterpoint would be, like, it doesn't matter if Bronny James is on that team or not. Like, I don't want to be the coach for a team that LeBron James is on, when LeBron James is already, whether or not his son is there. Like, who cares? It's already going to be LeBron's team, and you're just kind of out there hoping that you can keep
Hey, they
everybody
should
happy
just
and
make him the
keep your
player
job.
coach.
They
Why don't
should.
honestly, I'm not kidding when I say this. If I'm Rob Pelinka, why not just he's 39, give him the play. He basically coaches the team anyway. Make him the player coach. That way, when he has to fire somebody, he's just firing himself.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. You're still got to go kind of be LeBron's guy on the
Where would you
sideline.
draft him? Where if you're another team, okay? You're a team and you could draft Bronny for two reasons. Really, one reason. For leverage. To have Bronny so you can say to the Lakers, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna hold you for ransom a little bit. I got Bronny James. What are you gonna give me? I want more than he's worth. Like, would you do that with the 29th pick in the NBA draft or something like that? Where would you take Bronny?
Probably around there, just for the simple fact that you're going to be able to, how bad LeBron wants him, right? And business is all about leverage. Business is all about what you can get out of people. And I think that being able to have the rights to LeBron James' son, knowing how bad LeBron James wants to play with him, you can either get LeBron James on your roster. And I don't know if that's necessarily something that a lot of teams would want at this point. Knowing what comes with having LeBron James in your roster. But the other side of it is, might be able to get, here's the question though, like, how many players on the Lakers do you actually want right now? You know what I mean? Like, how many,
Only a couple.
how many guys would actually make you better? So I don't know, man. I just, it kind of is what it is. We know where he's going to
I mean,
end
he
up.
could also, I think he can opt out. I think he's got an opt in. So he could opt out of his deal. And if somebody else drafted Bronny, like, let's say a contender does draft him in the late 20s. I don't know, whoever it is, right? Like, whether it's like Boston or Denver or somebody like that. Why not? If you're LeBron, why not do that? Do that and go with your kid and have a chance to actually win a championship with your kid at the end. Even if your kid doesn't play, even if he's sitting down the bench, waving a towel, watching you from up, and you can honestly enjoy it with your kid, and he gets in garbage time. Who cares? Like, do that if you have to do it. Don't you want to win at the end of your career? Wouldn't you want to pick a franchise? And I know you got to move out of LA, but for a year or two, who cares?
I mean, Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of the Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/UNIFYD, the number 6, the number 8. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system. I would not say no to that, but we're also talking about LeBron James here, and I do think we're kind of at the point where basketball is the side hustle for LeBron James, right? Like, look at all the other things that he's doing. Basketball is the side hustle. What happens if it's JJ Redick that gets the job? Do you think JJ Redick, now that they're podcast partners together, is going to be able to keep control of them? Do you think that's that's a possibility?
I just think the podcast would be too much JJ and LeBron. They would be like a married couple and end up fighting, and I'm not sure it would make it till the All-Star break.
Oh man, that'd be tough. Yeah, I think LeBron will be LeBron James Jr., Bronny James. I think he's going to be. I think in 3 years we're going to look up and he's going to be a decent role player in the NBA.
I do too. Again, I hope people aren't getting the wrong impression of this, because I loved watching Bronny James play on the AAU circuit. I think he plays the right way. I've said this over and over and over, but I think he could be a 4-year college player and then go to the NBA and be a nice piece coming off the bench for a team. And I just think LeBron here, I think he's, well, I don't know if I want to say setting him up to fail. I don't think he's setting him up to fail. I think he's letting his own personal opinion here cloud what probably is the best decision for Bronny James at this point, which is go to college, have fun. You're going to make some money, but money really doesn't matter at all. Go to Duquesne, be the guy. Be the guy at Duquesne. Prove you can be the guy. And because I've never seen him as like the guy on a team. And I think that could help him in a way at the A10 level. That's the right level for him to be a dude. And if he can do that, he comes in the NBA with, kind of a different mindset, a different skill set, and just more experience, which, I don't think he's ready to play in the NBA. But again, I think it's more about LeBron saying, like, I think I can develop him and the NBA can develop him better than the college game can develop him.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That's probably exactly what it is. So, if you want to go ahead and butt heads and argue basketball stuff with LeBron James, I'm going to allow you to do that, and I'm just going to sit here. Yeah, I'm going to sit here and say, you know what? Yeah, maybe you got it. Maybe you know what you're doing here, LeBron. We'll see how it plays out. Listen, Goodman, this has always been fun. Reminder: every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. through the NBA draft, we were going to be live. Field of 68 after dark. 9 o'clock Eastern time, the only legitimate time zone. Until then, Goodman, I think you tapped out this week. Goodman's bailing on us this week.
I may have to bail on both this week because I just found out, I haven't told you this, but tomorrow I'm actually going to Caitlin Clark's first WNBA game at Mohegan Sun, and so I'll be there while you guys are doing the show, and then I have to drive Talia's car to Indianapolis later this week, so I might stop on the road and do the show Thursday from somewhere on the way to Indianapolis or Bloomington.
Well, maybe we'll just kick you off. I'd rather sit there and talk to myself for an hour than have to
All
talk
right.
to you while you're
Fair.
complaining about being in a
Drive.
roadside motel in the middle of somewhere in Indiana. So, Jeff, until then, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Field of 68 after dark. See you guys there.